Good morning. Good morning and welcome. A little double intro there. We're going to do a double intro. What's up there? Shout out to everybody that's joining us right now. This is the Piper Academy Network. This is the Morning Market Report. I'm Army Piper, and we got a little bit of a mixed market today. We did get some inflation numbers that came in this morning. Some of them met expectations. Some of them a little cooler than expected. So likelihood chance of a rate cut coming in September increasing. Ethereum breaking $4,400. Right now, we are at pretty much where we started the day on Bitcoin. Had a little pump up, pulled back down. We're going to break all this down. We're going to talk about what to expect. And my emojis don't work. It says that you don't have your membership anymore username. Just so you know, just letting you know. Guys, you know what time it is. Everyone take your seats. Class is in session. Let's get it. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report. I'm Army Piper. Appreciate everyone joining us here. Crypto Coin Mindset, Alexander G. Harp. Baba Yaz is in here with us. Username JR, JB Hawk Smash, Harp, Dylan VA, Robert Mulligan. Who else do we have here? We got Eric Ballin Wallen in the house. Chris Wrights joining us in here. Gen X Fairy Godmother, 2Dub, and Alexandra G. I got both my mods in here. That's all I need. If I got my mods, I'm good to go. Ninja Glock joining us also. Guys, appreciate everyone, but the guy I really appreciate joining me here today, it's my co-host. Let's go ahead and bring him up here. OC guy. OC, what is that above your head? What is that?
That is an ETH, man. Can I grab it? Can I grab it?
Can you grab it and throw it out of there? Hitting $4,400 this morning, man. It's on. I do think it's going to hit 4,800. There's some talks about it going to 7K. I think that might be a little overzealous, but 5K. I think 5K is in line, and I'm going to show you why on the charts today. ETH is dead. That's what username said he was coming here for. I'm here for the ETH is dead talk. That's what he said. So DDT in here lurking. Appreciate you, bro. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and just bring up the duo chat, and then we can see everyone here. See, there we go. OC guy. Oh man. OC has a what? OC has a what? Has a halo. He has a halo, an Ethereum halo is what they're saying. You have an ETH halo over there.
An ETH halo.
An ETH halo. I'm sorry, OC. I want to get a little glowing cricket too that I can put in here. That for when your mic is muted, I can just point at the cricket. Just point at the cricket. All right. We got a great show lined up today, guys. Just going through some of the stuff that we're going to be looking at today. 1 second here. Let me get everything on my screen. And pretty much we're going to go over some stuff on the Kabisi letter about Fed Chair Powell and all eyes being on him. Inflation data came in today. Also, Circle had earnings reports this morning. They actually reported a 53% increase in revenue. So yeah, they got a little pump. They are pulling back right now, but they did get a decent little pump this morning. Also, taking a look today at the stock markets overall. They're sitting, pretty flat and green with the data even, because now people are like, does this mean we're going to get a rate cut? And believe it or not, we're now at a 94% chance of a September rate cut on this new CPI data. So remember, job numbers came in bad. That forces Fed to cut rates. Inflation came in static and cool, which entices them that they don't need to do anything with rates going the other way. So very much of an increase in the likelihood of a cut. So we're going to be breaking all that down. And then lastly, we're going to talk about this article right here, OC. We're going to talk about this article right here. Ethereum whales and public companies are buying big at $7,000 next for Ethereum. So that's what we're going to go over today. Guys, I appreciate everyone that is here for us right now. But overall, OC, how are you feeling about the markets this morning? Let's take a look at that Bitcoin chart first to talk about where Bitcoin's at. Maybe take a little peep over at Ethereum, and then we'll come back and knock out the news. What do you got for us, bro?
Absolutely. So let me go first, really quick to Bitcoin. I'm a little out of place in here, but let's just get it. Here it is.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Oh, absolutely. So here's what we're talking about. Yesterday we had a short of incoming, and that was right here. That was the short that we were taking 50% out in here, and then moving on stop to entry, then taking another 50% out in here, and the chances for us to hit all the way down there were very increased very much. But there was a little caveat here, which was all right. What if this range wasn't the actual range that it was playing out? Because if we take a look at this actual white line or the red box in here, right, it makes a lot of sense. But if we start looking closer and closer, we can grab, or getting also very picky about it, we can grab this week in here, this week, and this other week. And if we extend it, we can realize that we could be having another set of trend line, right? I mean, of course, like if we ignore this first one, we had a flat-ish trend line here, or support line or resistance line, and then another very flattish support line right down here, right? So what if this one would have been the actual line that we should be looking into, right? Let me also clone it very quickly and then just skip it over here, and you also see that without making any changes, it really fits this area. Look at that, this low, a little bit of outlier or a spring, and another maybe outlier. We can even do something like that and actually fits perfectly, right? So going for that next theory, well, our range, instead of being a flat range, could have been this downtrending range, right? So it's not about the breakout, right here. It's not about the breakout. It's about the retest. And yesterday we were talking about this very dangerous retest right here at that area. And that was because, and for some reason, it moved to me. It was right here because for some reason we could still coming back down a little bit lower. Why is that? Because at that point we had, there we go, a big candle at that point like this. So we still didn't have any tiny candles. So are we there yet with the tiny candles? Well, we need to wait for that to close, but I think that we are right there on that possible bounce. As we also talked about, if you really want to just to wait for that and not to really grab it, just wait a couple of confirmation candles, and then let me just move this out of the way, and then trade it as we go up. And of course, you're going to be having a smaller stop loss. So what is it going to be? In that question remains, are we looking into a downtrend range, or are we looking into a sideways range? Because the actual result must or should be slightly different. If we're looking to a sideways range, the target it is 116,541. Or if we're looking into a downwards range, basically we already are bouncing off that target. Maybe at the worst case scenario, having a week to 116, but then bouncing back up. I think that we should be looking at this one here because the last one already played out and we're starting to have those tiny candles. So let's bring up the last of my oscillator here, and we'll see that this is what we were expecting, right? Maybe looking for the U form in here before going back up. We still don't have it, all right? So we still need to give it a little bit more time to have that U form right there. But so far, we are about to have a flip of the ribbon. So we still need one more candle here to have that flip of the ribbon. If we have that flip of the ribbon at support, well, we know what to do. And if we don't, and if we break through that zero line, we will know that we are on a flat range, coming back down to 116,400, a little bit farther down that we were expecting. But that's what we got so far. We're basically just going for that retest on a downwards range.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm sitting here looking over some stuff. We got some. The reason that we're getting some suppression of the markets right now, by the way, NASDAQ climbed to a record high this morning, getting a little bit of a pullback there. But there's some talk coming out of the Oval Office right now. So we'll get into that on the news side. Let's go ahead and jump over to the news, and we'll be right back. Like take a look at some more altcoins, OC. So get those ready, bro. All right, guys. Looking at the news today, we are sitting here looking at the coin into the cryptoverse crypto market cap right now. We're at $3.978 trillion. Trend on this, the median average 4.194. We are currently only undervalued by 5.15% on the total crypto market cap. Looking at the current risk levels, we're at 55.9% risk level. That's still a 2x DCA on Bitcoin. That came out yesterday, by the way. And so this morning would have been your time to pick up a little bit of that. With stable coins right now, Bitcoin dominance is sitting at 59.88%. Without stable coins, it's sitting at 64.1%. And you can see we are getting a slight bounce here. You can bring it in, see a little slight bounce, but it's still just a lower low right now on that Bitcoin dominance. Let's go take a look at the Fear and Greed Index, currently sitting at 68 right now on that Fear and Greed Index. This was 4 hours ago. Do we have a newer one? Let's go see. Nope, 4 hours ago. That is the most recent 68 on that. Guys, that's stuff that I was talking about. Donald J. Trump here, good old DJT. He said Jerome Too Late Powell must now lower rates. Steve Mnuchin really gave me a beauty when he pushed this loser. The damage he has done by always being too late is incalculable. Fortunately, the economy is so good that we've blown through Powell and the complacent board. I am, though, considering allowing a major lawsuit against Powell to proceed because of the horrible and grossly incompetent job he has done in managing the construction of the federal buildings. $3 billion for a job that should have been a $50 million fix up, not good. So yeah, he's talking about lawsuits now against Powell for that building, which we've showed that video a while back. But yep. Oh, Lord. That's what we got going on right now, guys. Also, bankruptcies coming in. This report just came out a little while ago. 71 large companies, U.S. companies, went bankrupt in July. It's the highest monthly total of bankruptcies for large U.S. companies since the 2020 pandemic. This follows 66 and 64 in June and May. So 66 in June, 64 in May. Year to date, there have been 446 large bankruptcies, the most in 15 years. So these two data reports, or this report and this tweet coming out, is giving the market a little bit of suppression this morning, just so you guys know. I want to make you aware. Let's go take a look at what we're seeing over there on liquidations. In the past 24 hours, 126,690 traders were liquidated. Total liquidations coming in at $389.12 million. Largest single liquidation order was on Binance. It was for Bitcoin. No big deal. Just 2.4 million today. Let's take a look at the stock market, and you'll see, NASDAQ only up 0.4, S&P up 0.5, Dow Jones is up almost a full percent. The Russell 2K is pumping. Small caps is moving, guys. That's retail right there. That's retail at its finest, up 0.8% today. Yep, I agree, Lee. It won't go well. VIX is also in the red today. Let's look at the European markets overnight, mostly in the green. Asian markets overnight, all in the green, except for India, continuing to have some issues there. Nifty 50 down about 0.4%. Look at the bond market. Told you. Hit 4.2. What happens? This thing comes back up and heads to 4.4. 10-year yield now at 4.316 on the daily here. Looking at oil, mostly in the red, except for RBOB. RBOB is in unchanged territory right now. Nat gas, oil, Brent, all in the downside. Look at that gas, man, dumping hard, 3.39%. Gold is down under that $3,400 benchmark. It is sitting there about 0.3% to the downside. Silver at $37.74. Copper is up 1.44% today, but platinum and palladium both taking dumps. Palladium leading that dump at 1.86% versus platinum's 0.54%. Let's go take a look at this article here. Circle, guys, had their earnings report this morning. Circle shares rise as the second quarter revenue jumped 53% on strong stablecoin growth. Stablecoin issuer posted a 53% increase in revenue, and they also announced a layer one blockchain called Arc. Where is it at? Probably not in here, but anyway, they announced this also in their earnings report, that they are going to be developing a layer one called Arc that is going to help with the design of stablecoin in the place. And with the Genius bill, it's a good market for them to try to drive into and ride that Genius Act wave. So I just wanted to drop that in there, though. If you guys have been following the Circle trade that we talked about months ago before they even launched publicly, yeah, up 53% on their earnings. So let's talk about alt season. Where are we at with alt season? We're sitting at 39. Again, you guys know we got to hit above 71 and we got to sustain above 75 for it to be a good run here for us. And overall, right now, we are sitting at 39, so we are not technically in alt season. I will say we're in ETH season right now. We're in ETH season, OC, whether you like it or not, bro. Let's go talk about this bull market indicators, peak indicators. How many of these have fired off? We're still sitting at 0. We're still a hold. It's a hodl world. If you guys are still following this thing, again, 30 peak indicators for the market, and none of them have fired off as of yet. Let's take a look at these crypto bubbles, talk about the big movers today. Down, I should say, 0.7% is Bitcoin on the daily, sitting neutral and flat on the hourly. Ethereum is up 2.3% on the daily, giving back 0.2% on the hourly, sitting just under $4,400. XRP is down 1% today, flat on the hourly. Who else we got here? BNB is up 1.4. Tron's up 1.7. Chainlink has moved up a spot to number 11, guys, from number 12 to number 11, sitting at 22.72. Still far off from $800, but it is up now 4.1% on the daily. So any other big movers in here? A lot of stuff just kind of meh. It's a meh day. That's what it is. Toncoin rounding out that top 20 there. Pepe, let's see. I'm just going to cruise down here. Take a look. Anything get really big moves today? Not really. Not really. Tezos is up 6.9%. That's about it, the top 100. So kind of a mellow day here across the crypto market, despite that bullish news. And what was that bullish news? It was core inflation rate month over month and year over year. And then our inflation, including that food and energy that is excluded from core inflation coming in also for month over month and year over year. You can see here, core inflation for the inflation rate month over month was at 0.2, expected to be 0.3, came in as expected. Look at core inflation rate year over year was at 2.9, expected to be 3, came in at 3.1. This is a little higher, right? But look at the inflation when you exclude food and energy. When you look at that, meaning, hey, yeah, you're paying more money, but inflation's going down. That's what they're saying. Just don't go try to buy a hamburger right now. Inflation rate month over month was at 0.3, expected to be 0.2, came in as expected. And then inflation rate year over year was at 2.7%. The expected increase of 2.8% on the consensus came in cooler than expected. So overall, we came in better. CPI as a whole came in at 323.05, was at 322.56, but it was expected to be 323.20. So the market's cooked in what the expectations were, and then we got better than the expected, which means likely going to see a rate cut. What does that look like? Let's go talk about that here, right there. There we go. Flashbang. Sorry about that. My apologies. Let's take a look here. Hey, shout out to CJ Taylor. I see you, bro. Much love to you, man. We were at 80% yesterday, guys, on this. We were 85.9% one day ago for a rate cut. We're now sitting at 94.2% chance of a rate cut in September. Look at October now, and we're sitting at a 98.1% chance. So I do think rate cuts are going to be coming, but let's talk about this inflation. Got an analysis report here from Pepperstone. July 2025 U.S. CPI headline for show, core for dough. CPI rose 2.7% year over year last month, bang in line with market expectations. However, underlying price metrics showed signs of inflationary pressures continuing to intensify, with core CPI rising to 3.1 year over year, the fastest pace since February, and super core inflation, aka core services less housing, take away housing, that's what you get there, rising 3.2% from 3.0. So some of the stuff did come in hot. This is why I wanted to read this report for you, because it's not everything that they reported on that economic calendar, and we're seeing some other little areas here that the markets might be digesting right now. On a month-over-month basis, meanwhile, it was a case of headline for show, core for dough, to coin a golfing analogy. Headline prices rose 0.2% month over month last year, which met expectations. Though this cooling was largely due to a drag from energy prices. Removing this impact, though, the focusing on the core metric points to an underlying inflation persisting, with prices excluding food and energy having risen by 0.3% on that month over month there. So, little cracks that the Wall Street might be digesting right now. I just wanted to make you guys aware of that. And let's jump over here, take a look at our max pain. Where are we at on max pain now? Guys, this is what led us to call the $120 hit, a $120,000 hit. And we are looking at 120,289, 1.11% away from us right now as the max pain for those shorts. Anybody in shorts right now? Watch out for that level, because if it goes up there, they're hunting you for $62.83 million. Let's put this on the monthly and see where we're at there. That moves us up to 123. So $123,000 would put us really damn close to the all-time high. That's $227 million in short liquidation sitting up there. The downside move, it's only 0.85%, and it's at $117,700. That's $176 million in liquidation sitting down there. Let's go talk about that, and we'll come back and talk about the Ethereum after this. Let me bring this over. Let's go into the news charts over here. And OC, we'll talk about what we're seeing here at that $117,500 level. I actually have a call that I put out yesterday on Chart Hackers and in our Discord for Piper Academy. I dropped this long entry, and it's right here. We're talking about 117,567. I find it interesting that our max pain is sitting right there in that range. Also, I said, look, here's your area to watch for support. We got a point of control down to the 50% fib. And if we get a bounce down to there and it bounces, that would be a great area to pick up a swing long for that liquidity rebound to the top. That $123,000 that we talked about, guys, that's going to be up here above this whole area. So this would be in line with that. And then that $117,500 entry going to be right here on that 50% fib. That's what I'm watching. If we take a look at the oscillator, we are coming in to the zero line. Money flow is still looking strong, but we are seeing a little bit of a drop in volume. If we are able to get a bounce here and it moves to the upside, we'll take that long foreplay, and we will see where it goes and where it leads us. Set our stop loss, use our risk management. That's what we do, right? Looking here at the daily on Bitcoin, guys. We did wick almost up yesterday to our value area high. Now we are retesting point of control. This is going back all the way to May 7th of this year for this fixed range volume profile. You can see we have a really solid volume nipple here. Here's the problem. If we lose this area, guys, and we break that 50, we hit a big volume gap right there. That is a fair value gap you can see on that candle right there, and would likely lead us down to about $111,000 on Bitcoin. But right now, let's take a look at these oscillators. What story are they telling us? We got a green histogram. We got a green signal line cloud pumping here on the MACD normalized. We are moving to the upside on the daily on the Oscillator Pro ribbon. Money flow looks good. It looks like volume is starting to level out for an upside move. And we did get a true 7 fire and an uptrend right here on that bounce of the 50-day moving average. And that came in at $112,000 on August 2nd. That would have been a key point to grab a long, or to at least had done your dollar cost averaging there as we're moving back up. Okay. If we also take a look at that $111,000, guys, that we were talking about, that would be a liquidity sweep of that level we just referenced. So overall, RSI is the only thing that's looking a little bit extended here. We are running into that 70% RSI, which is a key area for downturn. You can see the candle on this new daily kind of flat, and we're getting that flat top. What happens when you get those? It typically leads to another downside move. So be very careful, be very aware. We are at a critical level right now on Bitcoin. OC, I got something I want to show here on ETH, and then we'll jump over and see what your thoughts are on all of this and get your input. But let's take a look at Ethereum, because right now we're at 4405. Okay. We are kicking up towards that all-time high, but let's put this thing on a daily. Actually, put this thing on a weekly, and let's talk about something here. Okay. You can see from our fibs up here where we had our high that we set back in December. Okay, down to from our low that we had back in the bear market to that high, right? We had fibs set here, and we have broken out of this fib set. That means we got to get rid of them. What are we going to do? Let's go back to the old faithful, because I had these on here for a long time ago. These are your low to high to low fibs on Ethereum. Let's talk about this here. We got a low sitting all the way back here. This is our 2020 low of the market, right? The bear market of 2020. The MACD normalized is just like a regular MACD, but it's got some extra chart prime algo in it, DB Cooper. It works just like a regular MACD. You got your histogram signal line. It's just a lot cleaner, and I like chart prime's algo better. So they got a free version. It's absolutely free. Just type in MACD normalized or type in chart prime, all one word, in your indicators, and you'll see MACD normalized. But pulling from that low back in 2020 to the all-time high that we had back in November 2021 to the low of 2022, and that creates a trend-based fib extension. So basically this pull here creates what is the extension looking like. And so if we put this on, check it out. $5,000 Ethereum comes in the platinum pocket. I absolutely think since we have now broken this resistance, look, resistance, pumps down, gets a bounce, and takes off of that trend line of that broadening wedge there, okay? Now we have to go, okay, so where's this heading? $4,600 for the 786, 887 for $5,100. I think a $5,000 Ethereum is absolutely in the charts right now. It would be a liquidity sweep above the previous high. It would also put us into the platinum pocket, and it's a nice psychological number. But we have some talks going on, OC, that have to do with this broadening wedge, and it's on this article. So let's bring this article up and then see what your thoughts are on this. Looking at this article from Coinbank, there we go. Nope, that is that. There it is. Ethereum whales and public companies are buying big is $7,000 next for Ethereum. Let's go down here and take a look at why they're saying this. The current phase reveals that several public companies have accumulated significant amounts of Ethereum in their treasuries. For example, Bitmine announced it is holding approximately 1.1 million Ethereum, around $4,311 per Ethereum is what they paid. In addition, an eye-catching transaction reported by On-Chain Lens showed that a whale has accumulated nearly 60,000 ETH across multiple platforms. The Ethereum ETF broke $1 billion in net inflows yesterday, guys, on August 11th, and BlackRock's ETHA, ETHA leading the charge, signaling institutional interest. So here's this broadening wedge that they have there that you saw on my chart also, right there. They are doing this measured pull here on this thing, guys, based on the point there to the point there, and then measuring that up. They're calling for a $7,000 Ethereum. That would be a 79% move there. Using the price bands, analyst Ali also projected that Ethereum's next targets are 5210. I can go with that. $6,946 being the other one, with ETH currently trading around $4,300. The price would need to rise between 14 to 63% to reach those two targets. OC, your thoughts, bro? What are we seeing here? Is this ETH season, and when does alt season start? If that is the case, I don't think that we get a true alt season. Just so you know, that is my stance on that. But Ethereum, $5,000. I mean, I just laid it out for you. You saw how well those trend-based fib extensions played out for calling the tops this whole cycle. That was pretty much every time that it hit that, I was pulling out of that golden pocket. But now we're past it. We're heading to the platinum pocket. We're talking about a broadening wedge measurement hitting 7,000, 6,900. We'll call it 69. Okay. But your thoughts, man. What's going on with ETH? What do you think about these two numbers? And how is your sentiment about the rest of the alts on the market in comparison to Ethereum right now?
So, talking about the rest, well, let's go for pieces. What about ETH? Well, my sentiment of ETH is, well, hashtag, you know what, F ETH. but that's also because I haven't been able to actually trade it as I would love to, right? It keeps sweeping out of my hands. I was looking for a short, it ranged. When I was looking for a long, it ranged. Then we took a long, it did pretty well in that long, but then when we took some profit, it longs some more, right? Moves some more. So it's been very, very, very sneaky. So it wouldn't surprise me if we hit that golden pocket. Sorry, platinum pocket. Your platinum pocket is coming around. What was it? 408, 4,800, or that was
It's
4,000.
4626, 4626 for the 786, and then 5100 sitting there for the 887. So right there.
Perfect. I see. So starting somewhere around 4,700 and ending around 51K. Uh, sorry, 51,000. Perfect.
Yeah.
So I mean,
No,
I can actually
5100.
live with that.
5100. Let's not get
5,100.
ahead of ourselves. We ain't talking about a $51,000 Ethereum on the show. Robert Mulligan, while you're talking about that, Robert Jones said no 5K ETH without a retrace. And I think he is absolutely right. I do think we get a retrace, and I think it comes back to test all of this support that we now have here that used to be resistance in that golden pocket. If we pull this over and take a look here at the fixed range volume profile, you can see we do have a value area high at about 3,500. But look at all of if you look closely, you can see here that the outside of that 70% range, right? 70% of the volume, right? That's what they look at there. If you look at that, there's a huge volume node right here, and it's lining up with that 618. I think we come back to retrace there, catching all of this retest of support before we get that next bounce. And that level again, 3,800 OC. That might be your chance to catch that trade that you want to catch on ETH now. So just saying. So your thoughts? Continue on.
Absolutely.
Carry on, my brother.
Absolutely. So I believe that we're gonna be hitting it. By the way, if you look at the 4 hours, it doesn't have enough structure to start making that breakout. But if you look at the daily, you absolutely have it, right?
Mhm. Well,
I'm
that was a
looking
weekly
at
I
the
was just
4.
showing. The weekly
Oh,
looks
got it.
great.
It does. It does. So, I mean, my first predictive ranges are coming right here at 4,492 or 4,500, right? But I also have an open short. Well, it's not open. I'm planning to open a short as we start hitting the 4,570 ish. Or 4,600 ish. I believe that zone we could start creating and catching some retracement, and that is because we are making a little bit of a rising flagger. We're flying up to the right. I also think that we might be having another retracement, almost at the same ballpark that you're looking at, but for me that will be the 4,056 area. So yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm not looking to long ETH. Here it is, perfect. So here are my predictive ranges right there. And what I was talking about is it is like, I mean, it actually looks pretty good, to be honest. But this area right here looks a lot like your weekly. So, but the weekly is actually this whole thing, and that candle that we saw in the weekly, it is this whole thing right here, right? But I mean, so far for 4 hour structure, I would say that we could be coming out somewhere around here and maybe pushing over, right? Pushing past it. And based on that, in between my gray line and my golden line, which is right down here, just in case it's a little bit hidden, well, I'm aiming for that area as we might be having some flip of the ribbon right. Where is it? Come on. Right there at the top or something like this, right? What I'm going to be looking at, my strategy is going to be looking at my power bar right up here, because when I start seeing that power bar, I think we could start having that retracement. But so far, we already have the flip of the ribbon. The flip of the ribbon happened right here, so our entry was right there. But since we were on a range for me, there is no entry. There is just no entry there. And money flow's been ramping up in here, a true 7 ramping up. The only thing that is just not ramping up, it is the volume matrix. And something important about the volume matrix is that as it goes down and we have some disparity with your money flow, they cancel each other out. So that's why we're seeing a range in here. I do have my power bar right down here, but it's just not bright enough. Important when we start seeing that white-ish color here, it is when we start looking for big movements for possible retracement. Big movements already played out for possible retracements. So I still think that we could have some brighter spots. But what is worrying me, it is the True 7 and the money flow that they keep ramping up, and we create a huge, let's just say, broadening wedge like this as we go up, because that means that most likely the fall would be big. And my area of support right down there, it is where my falling knife strategy is at. Entry number one will be somewhere around here for a breakout retest continuation. And my second and most important area, it's going to be right here if we're able to hit it off at 3,600 ish. Important, if we hit this area right here, we're going to be below dynamic reactor. So we'll see how that develops. Very important. So I rather go with this one first. Oh yeah, look at that.
That's OC trying to catch the ETH train right there.
Man, I definitely identify myself with that. So yeah, I mean, and talking about other altcoins, you mentioned that how's my feeling about ETH and other altcoins? It's like, come on, ETH, do something that really can give an entry, right? I mean, yes, this little hiccup, well, this was that an entry? No, the last entry that we had was this flagging here that we broke cleanly with a flip of the ribbon, but then the actual money flow rushed in right here. So it was a little bit of a of like, are you gonna be longing the top because this was a range, right? So not really. You wait for flag out or retracement, and that's what we're still waiting for. While, for example, something like Solana, we had that beautiful double top that we were expecting next to LDO, by the way, that played out perfectly. And look at that, coming back up, breaking the trend line, right? And then going for the secondary high with a double top. And you can see in Ethereum, I was expecting that double top again. The same thing that I was expecting on the altcoins. And what happened on that double topping here, we lose the trend line or the neckline. Perfect. We're coming back down and then finding support. Tiny candles. Look at that. What I was expecting of those tiny candles. We already have our first candle, and then off we go. So in fact, I'm gonna be calling out the first trade of today, which is gonna be a long Solana here. Our stop loss is gonna be very tight, right around this area on 173. Give yourself just a little bit of a wiggle room and then aim to the previous highs. So this is going to be a very small trade. This is, again, a 1/4 of an entry. And that is because right now we're not trusting the altcoins, all right? Our risk reward is still one above one. So this could still be a run up to the upside. But just to touch back on LDO, we're looking for that breakout. Let me just clean up that spaghetti, of course. And do we have that breakout? We are in the process of breaking this out to the downside and flagging to the right. Let's bring my spaghetti back up and let's clean this up, because yesterday we opened up a short at the very top in here. We went back down to the trend line right down there. We take some 50% out, and at this point we're still waiting for our next target at 1.40. Seems like we're rounding up, but I think we still have some downwards momentum in here. We have seen that before as we go down, and then it kind of like it's a slow flip right there. If for some reason we start breaking the 161, I'll do a BOS long.
I think that watching some of these areas for shorts is good, because you guys got to remember there's not a whole lot of liquidity in the markets right now, right? Overall, the liquidity is not there enough to blanket all of the alts. So I do think you're going to see the alts move in waves, right? Ethereum kind of leading the way there, and it might hold. Ethereum might hold a majority, but these ones that are pulling back, like Robert Mulligan was talking about the ETH to Solana chart. If you pull that one up, OC. We'll show that to the people here. But the Solana versus ETH chart right now is telling a story. Robert Jones, sorry, not Robert Mulligan. Robert Jones, you're absolutely calling it correct there, in my opinion. Good call. But yeah, we'll take a look at that in a second. I do want to give a shout out to French Toaster. French Toaster, we missed you, bro. We're glad to have you back, and condolences from the entire alumni and the Piper Academy team, man. We're glad to see you back, bro. We missed you. Much love to French Toaster. So, guys, drop the hearts in the chat there. If you guys don't know, French Toaster had a loss in his family, a dear family member, and our heart goes out to him. We love you, bro. OC, let's go ahead and take a look at that Sol ETH chart, and let's see how that's looking right now.
Not looking good, man. But perfect. I either need to be smaller or you need to be bigger, my friend.
I'm just over here in the corner. I'm just peeping in. I'm just like, hey, what's up? What is that?
Love it. So yeah, I mean, we can see the actual change in value between those two. So we just have a lot of movement to the downside. Let's just get rid of this. But before we turn off this one off, remember, this is one of my favorite indicators to catch falling knives, and very, very important it is to see this area right here at 0.03. All right, so something important, let me just show it to you really quickly. Let's go to MXN over USD right here. Oh, wait, USD, right? Oh, it needs to be all. Here it is. And if you know, that's just the Mexican peso versus the USD. This is important because we're going to be looking at, if you're related to Forex, of course, I think that will be easier to understand. It is what is against the value of what, right? So as you can see right here is Mexican peso versus the US dollar, all right? That means that this is the price of US dollars, so the second asset of over Mexican peso, if that makes sense. If I do it the other way around, if I do, for example, USD MXN, all right, and then add it right here, you'll see it that right now it looks completely inverted, but right here you'll see the price of how many Mexican pesos. So you can see the second asset, how many Mexican pesos are equal $1. That means, have an understanding that, let's go back to, well, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Let's just bring back Ethereum versus, yes, Solana, sorry, versus Ethereum right here. So that means that, let's recap once again, the price that we're seeing right here equals the second asset. All right, how many of the second asset? It's one of the first asset. All right, so right here is how many, let's the second asset, Ethereum, how many Ethereums equals one Solana. So as you can see, Solana has been losing over Ethereum because it's been coming back down. Just like, for example, right here, you see the Mexican peso losing value, all right, over the US dollar right there. Well, how does that play? Well, gaining terrain, to be honest. And that is because, look at that, the lower that we go, the closer to 1-to-1 we get, all right? So this means, there we go, like this, that the Mexican peso, yep, the Mexican peso, how many Mexican pesos is gaining terrain. So this one is going back, is gaining terrain because it's getting value. Therefore, you need less Mexican pesos to buy $1. The same thing happens here. The more that we go down here, the more Solana, all right, is gaining terrain. So we need less Ethereum to buy Solana, which means the more that we go to the downside, well, the closer, well, we're gonna get to zero right here. So that is just a quick comparison on where we're looking here. And something important is we're just getting very close to a 0.03 right here for a possible bounce and break of that trend.
Yeah, it's an ugly chart for sure, bro. Right now, Solana holders looking over at Ethereum right now have to be like, ugh. But you know, you're talking about the swap charts, right? And a lot of people play swaps on just with their crypto. Like, I'm going to move into what's moving stronger, and swap it over to here and then swap it back to there, whatever. But all charts really, they're just comparing how many of this you need for that, right? That's what Bitcoins to the US dollar is. It's interesting when we talked about this on the show before, when you look at the Ethereum, the US dollar versus the euro, it's been a straight up line since January. Matter of fact, I'll go ahead and pull that up here just to give a reference to that, a visual reference as we're talking about it. Because yeah, we'll go weekly since we're talking about January, and we'll go look here at USD EUR. Let's go USD EUR. Bam, right there. There we go. Let's go pull this up. See it. There we go. You can see here, this is the US dollar versus the euro. It's just been dropping all the way since January when we hit our all-time high. Check this out. That means that the US dollar it's taking right now, it's taking more dollars to get a euro, right? Okay. So the euro has been staying static or pumping while the US dollar has been drastically losing purchasing power since January, right? Let's go in here and look at BTC versus the euro. Okay. This is a very interesting chart, guys. Very interesting chart. BTC versus the euro. Where are you? I see you in here somewhere. BTC versus CAD. BTC versus euro. Check it out. Here's our January high. Okay. 105,811 euro. Okay. Is what it was back in January. This is when we made our new all-time high on Bitcoin, guys. Same time period. Did not make a new all-time high on the euro. So what does that tell us? That a lot of our new all-time highs that we're seeing on the stock markets and a lot of our new all-time highs that we're seeing on Bitcoin and crypto has to do with the weakening of the dollar more than it does on the price pump of the asset, because it's taking more dollars to buy that asset, right? If it was $100,000 to buy a Bitcoin and the value of $100,000 dropped to $90,000 in valuation because of loss of purchasing power, you would need more US dollars than 100,000 to buy. And so that would make the price be 100,000 back here in January, 110,000 here in July, right? And because the weakening purchase power of the US dollar might be why we've actually seen new all-time highs being hit consistently, like the NASDAQ today. So just an interesting perspective there when you start weighing this out and pull back away from your US dollar world and go, okay, well, what is the euro doing versus Bitcoin if the euro has been so much stronger than the dollar over the past 7 months, 8 months, right? And what we see is that no new all-time high was hit there. So it's pretty interesting perspective, just something to keep in mind and bring to the table so you guys can just go, maybe my assets aren't as great as I think they are, and the markets aren't as strong as I think they are. Maybe it's just the dollar weakening is making my assets more valuable. And that is why we're in Bitcoin. Okay. Just so you know, that's why we're in Bitcoin, guys.
And I have a question related to that. I first noticed something new in the setup, right? There's something new. Other than that little thing that I cannot get rid, man. Other than that, there's something new. Yes, I've noticed that too. That 4 letters right there. And also talking about getting assets, right? What if I want to go ahead and start betting against the dollar, maybe getting some stocks, but I'm just not there. For example, me in Mexico, I'm restricted to whatever Mexico lets me do. Do you might have a solution for me?
Yeah, BTCC. I'm actually in talks with them right now. I already have a link for them, but I want to get more details from them on what they are, what all they have and what all they do. I've been looking through. I've been trying to figure it all out. It's a bunch, guys. They have tokenized stocks. They have Coin M, which means I can go back to taking my Bitcoin and leverage trading my Bitcoin. So I don't have to sell my Bitcoin, but I am trading it as my asset. So instead of like shorting with USDT, I can literally short Bitcoin with my Bitcoin to earn Bitcoin as it's going down. So while the price is going down, I'm actually gaining more of my Bitcoin. Coin M. Yeah, I love it. So that's coming back into play for my life, coming up on the crypto winter eventually. Not yet. Not yet. I still think we got about 90 days. But yeah, BTCC, there's a link down below, guys. And I'm not sure what the details are on it for what they're offering for new signups, but we are going to be doing a lot of partnering up with them. They've got a lot of great things that you can gold. The stock market, tokenized stocks plus crypto. I'm very excited about the partnership with them. So, yeah, BTCC, OC. You got anything else for us that we need to be looking at, or have we pretty much ran the gambit today on all of this on all the markets today? I think right now we do see. That we're holding steady. That's what we're doing today. What are you seeing anything else, or what's your thoughts?
Well, I think that we could be looking at two different assets on altcoins. Some of them are looking very juicy for a long, and others looking very juicy for a short. As you can see, I was expecting this coming back down in here. Our first area of entry was somewhere around here, but as you can see, it expired very soon. The one that haven't expired, and that is because that is based on the prediction on that dynamic reactor, which the dynamic reactor has been flattening out, is like this one. We are right there of areas of entry. Are we ready to jump back into those areas? Well, we don't have in here, for example, any tiny candles, but seems like this could be a good area to start planning for a possible long scenario. Just remember to be careful in this area. Set your stop loss. I'll be looking for this area. It's just very low, somewhere around here, and then aiming to my previous areas right there. So what I'm trying to tell you here, it's not that you trade Spark, right? Spark, it was brought up to my attention. I didn't want to trade it because it doesn't have that much of history, but still looks like we could make a profit out of small movements. All right, so here's the contrast. For example, DAO, we did not win all the way back here, but we're having acceptance back of the on our dynamic reactor. So my entry is gonna be after we start breaking above the dynamic reactor, all right, and we do something like that, all right, we do something like this, and well, we keep continuing going up like in here, all right. So that's what I'm gonna be looking for. Another stuff that I'm looking for example, right here, Solana. Oh, by the way, it's already playing out the same zone that we're bouncing off that dynamic reactor, so we should be going into there. So shout out to that one. And other stuff like, for example, Ethereum, that I'm going to be looking for a short, not right now, but when we get to some resistances. And very quick, what was the other one here? Uniswap. All right, Uniswap, it's looking like we could be going for a short. And why is that? Because I do perceive it as, let me show you right here, as a wedge, rising wedge, and usually those rising wedges tend to break downwards. So my suggestion, friendly suggestion, not financial advice, it will be try to balance your trades. Look for some trades that look very, very good for longs, and look for other trades that look very, very good for shorts. That way, you're just not aiming everything in the same zone. And well, if the thing goes up or down, you don't get either straying it in the other direction. So balancing your trades might get you a better result.
Absolutely. But I will say this: when, not if, when Ethereum breaks $4,800, I would be very careful trying to short it. When Ethereum, if it's anything like last cycle, goes into price discovery, strap in. That's what you do, because it can get crazy. I remember last year when it started breaking new all-time highs, it was like $100 increase every single day. It just kept going up and did not stop, and everyone kept trying to short it, and they just kept taking that liquidity money from those shorts. And so yeah, if you want to short it, and you're not in the alumni, and you're not in the OGs, and you're not in the chart hackers world, right, and you're not a chart prime person, then go ahead and short it. We'll take your liquidity to continue moving it up. But yeah, be very careful, because when things go into price discovery, it can get really weird, and anyone that goes against it is going to become liquidity for someone else to pump the market even more. So loss on crypto, line of sight on crypto said, don't short ETH this cycle. probably a good call. And if you are determined that you have to short something because it can't keep going, here's what you do: you wait for it to make a lower high and a lower low against resistance, and then you enter your short. Don't have to go, all right, it pumped up, I'm going to short here. Wait for it to confirm a change of the trend, guys. So that's how you survive the market. So all right, guys, that's all we got time for today. OC, you got to go do your class. I appreciate you being here. Folks, if you haven't done so yet and you got anything of value out of today's show, I appreciate you all so much. Just smash that like button and share this out with a friend so we can keep growing this channel. We're trying to get out there and give all of this knowledge to as many people as we can. And so it helps us immensely. I hate to ask you guys for that, but if you haven't done so yet, smash that like button up. OC, we appreciate you. You're going to be live tonight with Trade Live with OC, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you guys tune in to that. I'll let you get out of here so you can go to your class. I appreciate you, OC.
See you afterwards, Piper.
All right, guys, that's it. That's all we got time for today. We appreciate all of you. We're about to jump over into Crypto Princess's already in progress show. She's got a premiere going on today about bot trading. So when you guys get over there, drop the graduation caps. If you guys got anything, again, smash the like button. We'll be back here tomorrow morning. BC returns tomorrow, guys. He'll be back with Good Morning Crypto in the morning right here on the Piper Academy Network. And then we'll be here at 10 a.m. bringing you guys the news, the charts, the markets, and everything you need to have knowledge. Don't forget, tomorrow morning, we do have a little bit of data coming in. We got the 30-year fixed rate mortgage, and there's some federal Fed Reserve speakers going on tomorrow, 3 of them. But overall, pretty quiet economy morning. We'll break down and see wherever we're at with all the markets and everything and get you guys on track to make some gains. Following the Piper plan. That's all we're doing. We'll catch you guys next time. Until then, trade safe, use some risk management, and as always, peace, love, profits. We'll catch you guys later. Fridge Toaster, welcome back, bro. Glad to have you, man.
That's the rap. Chart stack, data never lie. Piper led the mission, OC in the sky. Spaghetti on the screen, but the vision stay prime. Chart prime visual, signals on time. Alumni strong, we built from the grind. Lessons in the market that'll outlive time. Knowledge is profit, you know how we run. Till the next one, stay sharp, get it done. We'll see you at the next one.
Don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Morning market report out.
Financial failure. F2, what's up, bro?
We'll see you at the next one. Morning market report out. We'll see you at the next one. Morning market report. Ow.
That was awesome, dude.
Hey, it didn't break. What else you got?